Welcome to the Grow and Expand with Ace podcast, where we break through limitations, we heal from within, and we step into our highest, most expansive, fulfilled, and happiest lives. Now, any journey of growth and expansion and of inner healing will at times feel abstract, confusing, it can get lonely and overwhelming. And so at the very heart of the Grow and Expand with Ace podcast lies my intention to bring the conversations, the community, the connection, and the tools, practices, and strategies to you to help you bridge the gap from wherever it is that you find yourself to wherever it is you are headed. For today's episode, I'm so excited to delve deep into the world of energetics and how understanding and working with energy as opposed to against it can help you create whatever life, vision, or goal it is that you desire. So if you're a first-time listener here on the Grow and Expand with Ace podcast, I'll remind you of the body of work and the individual parts that will allow you to move towards whatever it is that your heart desires, whether that's personal growth, whether that's professional growth, whether that's a business or relationships. If you can see it, if you can sense it, if you can daydream about it and connect into it, it means that it is available to you. And all that has to happen is you've got to grow and expand into the version of yourself that makes that a reality, that claims it as yours, and that then attracts all of the opportunities that come along with it. And there's usually 4 steps to this process. Step 1 is obviously the envisioning process, where you get really clear and connected into that vision, that desire, the goal, or whichever phrase resonates with you. The other step is doing the inner healing work so that you can release the emotions and the traumas and the past hurts and wounds that you hold within your body on an emotional level that keeps you from acting in accordance with that version of you that makes that dream and that vision or goal a reality. The other part of that is, of course, to do the mindset work, where you think like the person who's already achieved that goal, who's already achieved that vision, who's ready to bring that in and claim that as yours. So the thought patterns, the self-talk, the inner dialogue, your relationship in your mind with failure, obstacles, things of that nature, and where you delve deep into some of your core limiting beliefs or subconscious beliefs that don't serve that vision and those goals and where you're headed. And you release them and you rewire them in a way that powerfully aligns. And then the last piece and body of work, and that is the topic for discussion today, is energetics. I'm so excited to bring this topic to you. It is the missing link if you have found yourself trying to grow and expand into a version of you that manifests something in, or that creates a goal or creates a vision in your reality, and to house that and actually, enjoy it when it arrives and can continue to house it. Then if you found yourself stuck at any sort of part in the process and you're thinking, but I've done this work and I've done that work and I'm kind of running out of options, then I'm so happy to tell you today that it is the energetics piece that is missing and that will take you from wherever it is that you are now straight into that goal and into that vision. So let's delve in first up a little bit about energy. What is it? And just some key thoughts and comments that I have in that regard that you'll find very helpful. First and foremost, every single thing is made up out of energy. This is science. This is not me saying that. Every single thing at its very core is energy. And then there's, of course, the law of energy that says it cannot be created, it cannot be destroyed, but it can be transmuted or changed, right? For lack of a better way of explaining that. And so that's really important to know. The other thing when it comes to energy that's really important to know is that there's lower vibrational energies and there's higher vibrational energies. And lower vibrational energies are things like grief, anger, judgment. These are the kind of words, fear. Fear is probably the main key one that blocks a lot of people from bringing into their reality those goals and visions and desires. These lower vibrational energies are dense and they're uncomfortable, and they are called lower vibrational energies because the level of frequency at which they vibrate at is lower. Then there's, of course, higher vibrational energies, and I'm just going to jump straight to the top spectrum. There's obviously a spectrum in between as well. And those higher vibrational energy frequencies are love, joy, acceptance, enlightenment, things of that nature. And so then the third thing to be aware of when it comes to energetics and working with in the energetic space is that like seeks like attracts like, and everything vibrates at a certain level and at a certain frequency, and things that have commonality will find each other and be drawn together, and things that are a mismatch won't be able to find each other. So think about times perhaps where you've had conversations with people or you've showed up in a certain way, and some people totally get it and they're there with you and they can connect in, and then others, it's like you're speaking a foreign language and it's non-comprendo. And that is a really good example of differences in people's energetic frequencies, where you can only meet someone at a level of frequency that you can resonate with and that also exists within you. So the other important thing to kind of have a think about there is if there's currently anything in your life on an external basis to you that you don't like, that isn't joyful or expansive or feel good, anything that you want to move away from, or that's, unhealthy, toxic, whatever words it is that you might put to it, you have to first and foremost accept that at some level in your energetic field, you hold a vibrational match for the external thing. And that is that match that allows you to attract that thing into your reality. And this is why very often in any journey of growth and expansion, as we heal, as we rise, as we raise our frequencies, as we evolve, things that used to be in our reality, things that used to be in our life, whether that's places, whether it's people, whether that's physical material objects, like they'll fall away. They'll fall away unless or until, and if at all, they too contain the higher frequency to a sufficient kind of level to meet you there. And so that's why there's a saying, everything crumbles before everything comes together. Because as you raise in vibrational frequency, the things that is outdated and in your old story and in the life that you're moving away from, doesn't mean you don't appreciate it, doesn't mean you don't love it for everything it was and what it brought you, doesn't mean it's not a crucial part of who you are and the exact person that's going to get you to whatever goal or vision it is you had. It just means that at this point in time where you're headed, some things get left behind. And as you've released these outdated energies that hold you back and that falls away, the things that was attached to that will likely fall away. Right? So I hope that makes sense. So then how do we use energy when it comes to bringing our goals or our visions or our external reality into our auric field and into our reality and our experiences? It starts off by acknowledging that this vision that we have, this goal, this desire, it could be love in a romantic sense, it could be love in a family sense, it could be love in a friendship sense, it could be better relationships, it could be a career, a job, it could be a business, it could be an experience like more traveling, whatever it is that you want to bring in. The first thing that you've got to do is acknowledge that it's not really the external thing you are chasing. It is the frequency and the feeling that you think that external thing is going to give you that you are seeking, and you have attached that to the experience itself. This is sort of a bit going off track, but I wanted to give you an example. It's just come to me as I'm talking now. Anyone who has got sort of a perfectionism streak in them will know that when their house is messy and disorganized and things are not in place, inside they feel messy, chaotic, disorganized, and anxious and overwhelmed. And then when you go through and you start room by room by room by room and you pack everything in and you're nice and in control and everything's going well, and you kind of at the end of the day light that last candle and you open the windows, now you can breathe, and all of a sudden inside of you, you feel free, relaxed, expansive, good, wholesome. That feeling that you feel at the end of it has always been inside of you because you got there inside of you. It's just that you attached it to a certain experience and outcome to get you there. And you've learned, mind, emotions, and energetically wise, that if these things happen, I can get there. So you believe that, so then that occurs, but the actual experience is within you, and you're the one that went and created whatever it is you needed to create to then draw that in. And in fact, there's a much shorter way to get it in, and that's at the heart of energetics. It says that you don't really need the things you think you need to get you to where you want to get to. You get to where you want to get to on an energetic level, and the things that you want will come anyway, and you'll enjoy it anyway, but it won't be from a place of need or desperation or lack. It'll just be like a value add. It'll feel even greater and even better and even more expansive and joyful and fun. And so when we're doing energetics works, what we're doing is essentially we're looking at what it is that we want to achieve and what are those core energetic frequencies that we're seeking from that outcome that we think the outcome is going to give us. Then we also think about the person that's going to create that, that's going to first claim it as theirs, because it is yours. It's already in you. And if it wasn't in you, you wouldn't be able to envision it. So the person in you that already exists, that version, that vibrational frequency that's already there, what version is that of you that's going to claim it and create it, and therefore then allow externally for it to be attracted in? Because when you're vibrating at that level, that's when it's attracting in, right? Before then, it's not. You're not accessible to it. You're closed off to it, whether you know it in your conscious mind or not. And so we look at it from that angle and we get extremely clear on an energetic sense what that vision's energy is and what the person who's going to be creating and claiming its energy is. And then we facilitate through a process, and there's 1,000,001 ways in which you can do it, allow you to connect into the part of you that already has that, so that you can obviously connect into with what that feels like on a cellular energetic level, not just your mind. And then once we've done that, essentially you practice and you build the muscle. It's kind of like going to the gym. You don't go on day one and you run a 7-kilometer or lift 30 kilograms weight. I'm pretty sure that's heavy and not all of us can do that, but whatever that number would be, right? You don't just walk in and do it and bam, wham, thank you, ma'am. You show up. You build your body and your muscles and your mindset to be able to continue to show up. You build yourself into the person that's consistent, that's dedicated, that shows up, that does whatever work it is that's needed. And then after a certain period of time, you are the person that runs, or you are the person that lifts those weights. But it just takes some time. You're building the muscle. You don't just show up and do it. And perhaps you can. Perhaps you're one of those, unique creatures of life that can just put their mind to something, show up day one at that gym and just run that 7 or 10 kilometers. But it's not going to be pleasant. You're going to be so fatigued and exhausted and probably scarred by how far you've pushed yourself. There'll be this other opposing element in you that goes, that was awful, because you just exerted all of that energy. And you're unlikely to continue to do that and continue to build, right? And so it just depends what your kind of goal is. A lot of people get really excited and enthused and energetic about chasing the goal, but then they get the goal and they haven't become the version of themselves that can house it and actually enjoy it and live there in a space of abundance and good enough and fulfillment. And so then they're just addicted to the goal and they go again and again and again. And that's fine if that's what they're about. But obviously here at Grow and Expand, the entire basis of this methodology is that we arrive at a place where we have our most expansive, fulfilled, happiest lives. And that requires you to know how to access that within yourself and to become the person that has that and that holds that on average. Shit will happen. You'll have to work through it. You'll have to feel it. And even to become that person, you'll have to do that. But that's kind of the goal. So once you've built the muscle through guided meditation, energetic practices, and equally as part of that process, it's really about doing energy clearing, because you're going to have a lot of frequencies that are not a match to what it is that you're wanting to bring into your life and into your vision. That's going to be inconsistent with it, right? So say you want to start a new business and you can see that CEO version of yourself and you know the energies that she or he has to hold. And let's say you want to be that badass CEO with work-life balance. And you can see it, you can feel it, you can connect into it. But if you're consistently vibrating at an energetic level of fear, of guilt or shame around taking time for yourself, rejuvenating, resting, delegating, then obviously you're never going to become that version while you're holding on to that and that right shotgun. You're never going to get to that version that can do all of that with balance, right? And so those lower vibrational frequencies, there are so many practices in how you can release them from your auric field and you can release them from your body and you can tap into them, you can access them, you can surrender them out and you can make room for new. You can also access those higher vibrational states, the ones that's in alignment with your goals and your visions. And then before you know it, you've made room, you're building the muscle and you have become that person. It is such a cool and powerful tool. I must say that for me, in a lot of my personal development, I didn't really use energetics that consciously. I did a lot of sort of energy release work in the kind of emotional space, but I more did that to get rid of things that I knew wasn't serving me, as opposed to being intentional about what do I need to put in to become a certain version. And in my business, I have seen it's elevate, elevate, elevate every time I've done this practice consistently. And it's honestly what allows me to just shift in. When that self-doubt starts creeping in, I now have the ability to just shift in. When there's a bit of fear around judgment, I just know how to shift into that sort of almost alter ego type persona, but it's not really outside of you. It's not really an alter ego. It's something you can access from within you. It's just a way to get there and to understand and relate to it at the start. And then you become the version. And then before you know it, that is who you are. You are loving, you are joyful, you are happy, you are positive, you are optimistic, when before you were everything but. And like hands up, guilty as charged. Okay, so the types of work that works really beautifully for this is, and when I say this, I mean energetic. And when I mean energetic, I mean both releasing and obviously, calling in the high vibrational frequencies. The most powerful tool for energy releasing and stuck emotions, which has their own energetic kind of vibrational component to them, is breath work. Guided breath work sessions that allows you to, through the breath, access those parts in you that carries that outdated, old, dense, stuck energies and emotions that has those energetic frequencies to them. And as you access them at such a deep level, because the breath is allowing you to kind of dive in and take you there, you also have some physical feeling and sensations and control over, almost like wrapping around it, positive, healing, loving energies, and then releasing it out through the breath. It's phenomenal. It's just, seeing is believing. And I would encourage absolutely anyone who feels like this is resonating with them to give breath work a go. It is just so amazing. And so breath work is a really, really powerful way to do that. The other things that really work for energy is obviously Reiki energy healing is really powerful. Kinesiology is something that I did a lot of and I found extremely effective. The other thing is there's spinal energetics. Like there's so many different ways, shapes and forms to, release energies that no longer serve, and then to tap into the higher vibrational energies that do align, and that is a match, and which is where you're kind of wanting to go, obviously, right? That's the goal. The best way is guided meditations. So it's someone who knows what they're doing to just guide you to the state of being that they know you need to be in to access that version of you, right? Because they've done that part of the work with you. You've done it together. They are very clear on what it is, that energetic frequencies that is attached to the version of you that brings it in. So they know where to guide the meditation towards. And through that, they allow you to access that state that's already in you. You already have that ability. You can transmute any energy in you. But when you're starting off building the muscle on this thing that is very new, you haven't done this day in, day out up until this point, then you need someone to guide you there so you can feel for yourself what's possible and you can tap into that. And then obviously the more you do it and the more someone guides you and you do it, the better you'll become at it on your own. And before you know it, you can take yourself there. And it's almost like, again, that instant shift that I was talking about. So there you have it. This is the final body or part of work that makes up the 4-step grow and expand signature methodology that absolutely allows you to bring in any vision or goal or whatever it is that your heart desires, to access that by becoming the version of you that claims it, that creates it, and that brings it in. And so I hope that you have found this very insightful, and I would encourage you to just start kind of playing around or being open-minded to this notion or to this process, right? Like start having a think about how there is a way in which you have felt happy before. There's a way in which you felt love. There are times when you feel inner peace, like anyone just has to sit overlooking the ocean to feel that. There is times that you have felt joy. Like these energies are available in you. They're already there. You just have to find ways that it's relatable to you to get yourself to access that space and then to build that muscle so that it becomes, a bit more frequent. And then that is what your natural operative state of being will be after not a long period in time at all. It is not to say that you're never going to feel lower vibrational energies. It is not to say lower vibrational energies is doom and gloom. It's not to say lower vibrational energies means anything other than it's not where we want to spend majority of our time, right? When we're growing and we're expanding and we want to activate our heart's desires, lower vibrational energies is obviously not a match to what we desire. And so we're moving towards what we want and we're moving away from what we don't want. So thank you so much for joining me in today's episode. It has been an absolute pleasure to share with you what I know about energetics in a limited window. Please, if you resonate with this podcast, if you enjoyed what you heard, if you learned a couple of things, make sure that you like and subscribe to this podcast, because the more people that like and subscribe, the more exposure it will get and the more other people who will so greatly benefit from this type of conversations and these bodies of work will hear about it, it will come into their fields, and then before you know it, we'll all grow and expand together. I hope you have the most beautiful week. All of my love. S.